So the thesis I wanted to invest in, the one that we're doing now, I saw the opportunities for the type of companies I was looking to do for my previous platform, but it wasn't the focus of the fund. So it was kind of like, trying to get it in if you could. I also, so part of it's the actual, like I mentioned, thesis itself. Part of it's the stage, like the Series A and leading at the Series A. There's in our view, a gap in this category in this stage. And we also believe it just to be a huge market opportunity. Bridget saw that from her work at Guild and BetterUp. I saw it with Agreed. So those factors were a part of it. And so when I was looking to think about my long-term career in venture, like what I want to be investing in my previous firm, where I learned a lot and had great mentorship from I was at a fund one through a fund three that scaled. Now the fund's almost over $1 billion. But the strategy, the focus of the fund wasn't what I wanted to do, and the stage wasn't anymore. The strategy shifted. So part of it was around sector and stage. The third part, though, is the partnership. And so venture is an interesting industry for partnership dynamics. And that was really important for me too, as I thought about a long-term career in this job. Like my favorite part of it is working with CEOs and like being on boards, helping build companies. It's like the best part. And why I think the A matters, like that's, at least in my view, where kind of category expertise, which I didn't talk a lot about I guess I talked a little bit about this in my background, but really understanding the category, not only the investors, but the policymakers, the academics, everything around it, I think matters more. So the third piece is this partnership angle. And what was really important to me was working with someone or with people who are really focused on, as I mentioned, this human-centered piece, like their own, like the culture of the firm itself and their own personal and professional growth was really important to me to stay in venture at all, like to even work in the industry. It's a strange dynamic. As you probably know some of the data around, like it's about like approximately 10% of GPs are women. Like there's a lot of interesting cultural things around VC. And so like for a long-term career, it was really important that I had the right partners to work with. And so Bridget and I know each other for a long time from investing in the category, but what really made me say yes, instead of me like working in an established fund, I'm going to go out and do something on my own, was having the right partner to do it with. And this piece around like commitment to personal and professional growth, like investing in coaching, like we, just as a partnership, we get coached every other week together. Then the off weeks, we have our individual, it's how we work with our founders. Like that piece of it was really important for me in this industry. And so I wouldn't have started a fund if it wasn't for the sector stage alignment and then that partnership alignment. And then just the other piece is around track record of people who have worked in the category. So Bridget and I have both been investing in this category for a number of years. As we mentioned, we have track record in the space. Many of the investments we've made have been because, we were able to preempt rounds. We had access because we have those existing relationships and we've demonstrated value to entrepreneurs. So it's not like I use the term sometimes tourist in the category where people are excited about future work right now because of the pandemic, but it's a phase for them. Like this is our life's work, is this category. So that's kind of the pieces that kind of came together for starting. And starting funds are really hard. Like it just is, it's really hard. Like it's fundraising is hard. Like, trying to win deals against, top tier Series A funds, which we've done, like it's tough, but it's because we've been in the sector long enough that we can do it. Does that answer your question, Alexa?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
And I would give that advice, generally speaking, about work, like partnership, culture, all that stuff really matters. But
actually, there's a related question to that. I don't know if you feel comfortable answer. How long did it take to raise your fund?
Oh, the average. So we're fundraising, but the average time for a first-time fund is 18 to 24 months. And it depends on the size. So we're targeting $100 million minimum fund, which is actually quite large for a female-founded fund. There's only a handful that are that big. So, which is actually not that big in the venture community, but like it's just the dollars are really skewed in the category towards growth and towards, I don't know how to say this, beyond like not female-led funds. I'll just say that.
Following up on that question, I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit to the fundraising process. Like, which LPs are you targeting? Are you targeting specifically LPs who are looking to write a diversity check, or are they like just really looking into your track record and just comparing you against every other fund that they're looking at? And who's kind of like, who do you look to be an anchor LP, and how does that process even work? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So it depends on like, I guess we get it for us, but like I'll speak on it broadly speaking. So who you raise money from is going to depend on what your strategy is and your like previous track record and all that kind of fun stuff. So, because from the LP perspective, you're thinking about like those folks who are, if they're institutional or even a family office or something, they're looking like, what do they want exposure to? Like what VCs of one small part of their like overall investments, right? Like they're going to do growth and buyout and all sorts of other stuff. So they're thinking about what do they want exposure to. That's also kind of how you think about it. So, we have everything from, families who have professional staffs who are investing for them and they have a thematic focus. They might care, to your point, around supporting diverse managers. They might care about the theme. Then there's all the way to like institutionals, universities. And then you also have like the high net worths who they're investing based on, we have for example, the CEO of one of the largest like talent marketplaces, former CEO. And he's, strategic because this is the category he cares about. So, if you're raising like a bigger fund, you're going to want to have some blend of investors. Some of the folks, funds that are in their like, multi whatever fund, they tend to have an LP base that's just going to kind of roll with them, and they're institutional mostly. But early days, it tends to be a mix of like families, high net worth. But for a fund our size, like you can't do that alone. So like we also have, and because of our previous relationships and funds we came out of, we also have institutionals as well. Is that helpful?
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah, but if you're doing like a smaller fund, if you were to say, I'm going to go raise 20, you could do it. You could probably do it with high net worth and maybe a family or something. Like it just, your composition, it also depends on how you want to manage LPs. Like some people don't want a ton of LPs, and there's a fund that was announced the other day that has like 500 high net worth LPs. Like wow. It really depends on like what a GP wants and like who they want to work with. Cause you have to talk to your LPs, you have to manage your LPs. And like, what are their expectations? So part of your LP construction is also a reflection of like how you want to run your business and what they want exposure to, and like how big you want your fund to be over time.